this a livelihood of alternative learning spaces, and your conversation in the last room has been super inspiring and motivating. um, just a few reminders to everyone: this call will be recorded, and it will start off with Aditi and Rathnesh giving us a little bit of context about their work. Then I'll ask a couple of questions to set the tone, to set the room and the tone, and then we'll open it up for everyone to jump in and ask questions. So please feel free to use the chat to start framing your questions. It'll be very helpful because we try to keep the questions from a wide range, try to be cover a lot of different aspects. So if you can write your questions, it'll be easy to select. And over to you, Aditi and Rathnesh. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ishta. And so we already kind of spoke a little about what we have been doing. So now we want to more focus on if you want to be doing the same thing, right? And the key thought that we think stands for us, which means, let's say for me and Aditi, and when we think about all the children, and then we think about all of you and all the whole world, and the only thought that comes to our mind is each one of us is capable, right? So we translate it to I am able, or I am able is something that we like, the singy songy aspect of it. I think that's, if we could just realize this, if we could believe in this and just start off what we want to do, I think that would be the biggest education. So I don't look at it as an enterprise or an entrepreneurship. I look at it as an education. And we have always been thinking of it, oh, I'm going to learn something tomorrow, or today, or today and tomorrow. And that has been our way of looking even at running an organization. Because I think it's not these skills. A lot of people think about, I need to have this degree or I need to get these skills. I think it's just the love for what you want to do. So if you want to work with children, if you want to work in the field of education, well, I would just, both of us keep saying this to people: dive in, start off. You will find, you will learn with them, right? For us, that's been our journey. How we started off. So if you want to know that, what the first thing that we realized, that everybody exists for us. Yeah, in the sense that if we approach them, if we go to them, they will help us, they will support us. So we met a lot of people when we wanted to start. We spent about a year just meeting a lot of people, and obviously everybody we couldn't meet in person. Some of the people are dead and gone, but they've written books for us, so we read a lot. We asked a lot of people a lot of questions, hopefully the way you will ask us today. And we also begged a lot of people, please let us know this, please tell us this, and so on. And the more we did this, the more we learned. So that was the 1 year before we actually started off. Uh, Once we started off, we realized that, at least for us, what really works is that, see, there are three ways I think one can do something. One can earn a livelihood. Either I can be a me too. I can also do what others are doing. Nothing wrong with that. Or I can tinker with whatever somebody else is doing. So if I want to, let's say, set up a tea stall, I can set up it up as another one. Or if I want to set up a school, I can set it how the other one sets it up. Or I can tinker it with a little. I can change it a little, or I can totally reimagine it. The reason I'm emphasizing on the reimagining part is it's very exciting, it's very playful, it's very energizing when we think of, when we don't have to think just because everybody's doing this way, I need to this way. And when you start doing things in a different way, it creates a pull. People automatically notice you, people come to you, talk to you, want to interact with you, as opposed to when you are doing something which everybody else is doing. You may be doing it a little better, then you have to hard sell it. You have to keep telling people, hey, mine is better, mine is better. But when you have reimagined something, then you don't have to really do that. So that's one of the things that really work for us. We never.
And I think when there is a reimagination, there is no competition. We haven't met any competitor in a way.
Not at all.
As we have grown. All we have found is what Rathnesh has put the first slide is that the whole universe is for us. Whole universe is with us, and we are with people around and whatever the resources around, and it has been a very quite an I would say it's a connecting journey rather than
Yeah.
disconnecting from
So
the.
now Aditi is talking about the culture.
Yeah.
I think that is very, very important. How we look at ourselves and the culture that we have. Now, for us, the key culture was that we have to be open about whatever we are doing. We have to share it with everybody. There is no competitor. If another activity center, another children's center down the road needs some help, I will go and give them everything. If they need support, I will give it to anybody, or rather we would give it. So we were all the time open, sharing, interacting, supporting.
In fact,
That's the kind of culture.
I think all our programs are online, open source. Anybody can take it, and people just once in a while they will send a message that I'm doing a program based on your program, and we don't even know who all are doing it because we met people who were open to us, and then whether whatever they were doing, they were quite connecting with us, and that's what the culture which we wanted to take it forward.
And this culture, it did something. It created something, and what it created for us was that what we started creating was not wealth. Well, we got enough money. Don't worry about that. Enough money to sustain ourselves and sustain all our efforts. But what it really created was a lot of value for people around us. A lot of gratitude people have for us. And it created a community of people. People want to stay connected, as Aditi was just saying. Now, I think if somebody is wanting and is creating value, gratitude, and the community, then wealth is not even in the equation. It will come automatically. Obviously, joy will come, and everything else will come. That's the real wealth that you have. So I think this is for us been the key aspect of working with children and with education. So that has been our thought. We just want to end this small presentation with this simple thought that whatever you can do, just start it. Right? That's what we both keep telling people when they say they want to start working with children, start wanting a center or a campus or something like that. We say, if you want, we started small. So for us, these are the three things we did. We started small and we didn't worry about the size or anything. And we grew from there. We were always learning and we were always connecting with more people. So I think that's the simplest way to start off. And then you go in whichever direction it evolves, the journey evolves. Yeah. So that's pretty much what we wanted to share in terms of slides and few thoughts. Yeah. Over to you all. I can stop this screen also. And we can go to everybody's videos.
Yes. Thank you so much. What's lovely about the presentation is that it's actually covered a lot of the beginning few questions that I usually open with. So you started by saying, not the skills. And I usually open by asking whether there is certain degrees or certification that one should be seeking or finding. But since that question has come up in the chat, and normally I would wait, first ask you a few questions and then go to the chat. Maybe I'll just ask Suparna to ask that question of that he has put in the chat, because I think that is on the top of people's minds, that there are some people who will jump straight into doing what they're thinking of, like an idea, and they jump in and they're doing it. And then I think there's some people who do want to seek some sort of guidance or education in this space, because through education, we also often find communities and partners with whom we can start organizations. And so, Suparna, would you like to read? Okay, his audio is bad. So his question is there any teacher training program in unconventional education, and how can we access it? That's what he's asked.
Yeah, so I want to start with when we started working, and we realized that we need now more people to work in this space with us. We actually started a teachers training program, or whatever you call it, untraining program, and we started sharing our learning through our programs. And so currently we are running 4 or 5 different kinds of program in which you can learn about children, about learning, about unlearning, about learning from masters, whatever we have learned. So there is a program on that, learning on how to create a self-directed learning at home, COVID being the one of the reason for the children to be home, and parents needed that skill to be able to now work with children. So there are a couple of program which we have.
Yeah, but I want to also
Yeah.
say that the programs are not really a requirement to start doing something with children. So if any one of you is thinking about starting working with children, I think you can just start.
Yeah.
If you just put one line in front of all of this, I am ready to learn from children. Children will be my teacher trainers, or whatever facilitation trainers, or whatever trainer you want to become. If you leave that, whatever, we say, if you want to build a classroom, build the classroom, but leave out the roof. But just a metaphor to say that we need to keep our minds open. This roof needs to be open, right? And then we will learn so much from children. Yes, you can be part of our programs, but that's only a side thing. The main thing is, starting off.
Thank you. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Can you give me about 5 minutes to just
Yes, sure.
ask a few opening questions, and then I'll.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I also wanted to ask you, in the other room, you shared that when you started this work, there wasn't really a market for this, so to say. You just started this. And I'm wondering, with where the world has reached now, do you feel like now there is a bigger market, and for people who may be wanting to join, now it's actually like a more open space for alternative education, unlearning? And so what's your take on when you started versus now in terms of scope within the market, so to say?
Yeah, I think it has definitely opened up, especially now that some people don't want to send their children to school because of COVID situation and all that. But yeah, even otherwise, more people are thinking about alternate educations and alternate spaces and stuff like that. So in that sense, yes, if you want to call it market, or I would call it awareness, has definitely, and even demand has definitely increased. So that's good news in a way. But I would still say that this is small. So if you are in this field, you will need to continuously connect with people, make them aware, help them understand, because we are too seeped into the conventional education. So to get people out of that, there's gonna be some effort, which is itself a lot of fun, because you get to interact with people and parents especially, and you understand different point of views, and you understand different children. So I think,
So I also want to add. So then, when we started in Bangalore, and after, say, for few years, people would say that okay, because you're in Bangalore, you can, people are, so to say, maybe more open, are perceived that there are more alternate spaces in South compared to North. Um, but realize, when we started in South, it was not there much. Yeah. And all we needed to do was to, as Rathnesh was saying, is that keep connecting with people, keep bringing that awareness a part of it. Like, for example, um, last 2 years we have been working on this whole concept of community learning, rather than me learning, my child learning, and all different kind of thing, and realize that uh, while some of these concepts are new, these concepts are not even understood by the people. And and so the latest word in our community right now is nurture. Yeah. So when you approach the people from that perspective, that they have a certain way of looking at this moment, that they have a certain exposure of whatever you call it, open learning, alternate learning, community learning, and different kind of thing. When whichever city you are, whichever space you are, if you connect with them, and then share what you're trying to do, I think it helps a lot. And unfortunately, none of the degrees teaches us all these things. Yeah. So we come back again to that, the degrees are not something which is important, but your work, as I think one of the slide, Rathnesh, was it's not the whatever not the skill, but is the will which helps you to climb up. So if that answers your question about the degree and the market, and
Absolutely.
whatever you call it. In fact, Yeah,
Yeah.
we are from the old era where there was no email or
Right. And it's actually important, I think, because we're talking over here about alternative education as the livelihood.
yeah,
And that therefore means that somewhere, as people wanting to enter that space, we also have to abandon this idea of degrees and qualifications. Otherwise,
Yeah.
there's not really a way to enter. Yeah. It
yeah.
makes it harder. Yes. Also, a request to everybody, if you have questions, it'll be great if you can articulate them in the chat. We will ask you to speak and ask them out, because this is a conversation. All it does is it helps us ensure that different aspects of the conversation are covered, because we have such limited time. So thank you. Please do write your questions, and we're coming to you very, very soon. So I have to ask another question. There's some questions that I have to ask. And so this is one which you've already touched upon, which is really the elephant in the room when we're talking about our livelihoods. And it's the aspect of money and financial stability, and what happens if I decide to follow my passion. And in your case, I think you've reiterated to us that it hasn't been about the money, it's been about what you love doing, and the money has come. And what I would like to ask is, for anybody here who may decide to follow their passion and commit in the same way, and if one isn't able to make money, or not right off the bat, maybe it's written somewhere down the line, but when you're starting off, you're not able to generate the wealth or traction that you need or want to grow. What would your suggestion or advice be on how to go forward? Is there something else one can look at, something else one can seek to support themselves? Yeah.
One of the things that I want to share is, or rather, I want to talk about is sharing. Somehow it may not immediately, money may not come. We don't know. But what is so important is that you continuously keep giving. In some ways, what we have learned is the more you give, the more you get. Right? And that sharing. I'll just give you a small example. When we started, after a few years, we started a small mailing list in which we said we will send an article, every one article a week. This was way back when email was the only source, right? Like a blog kind of thing. So we had 50 subscribers to our mailing list at that time. And then you zoom out, this was like 2002, I think. And by 2010, we had 30,000 subscribers. Right now, these were not coming through any money. They were not giving any money directly. But you see, when you're reaching out to so many people, automatically a lot of everything else will happen. So I think somewhere we have to, and we never thought of that. Oh, we are doing this mailing list so that it becomes 20,000 likes kind of thing.
There were no likes.
There were no likes at that time. In fact, we won't even know if people are reading. We just kept on seeing the mailing list increasing. So, but we never looked at the numbers. The point is that if we continuously create value for others, I think the value for us will happen. Yeah, as you said, it will happen down the line, but I think that belief has to be there. In fact, last so many years, almost more than 10 years now, we are totally on what our you can say finance policy is AKSD, which means apni khushi se do. We are on AKSD. We don't charge anything. Everybody gives as per their contribution. So the other word we use is contribution. So for all our programs are contribution based. And believe me, the contributions come far more than what we would have got if we would have done it as a subscription model. But yes, that is definitely when we think we want to give that value, and that is the so important uh, to in the whole way of working with, because that is also the whole you can say the way in which you look at learning. The learning itself is not just about some subject. The passion comes across, and then when the child is also passionate and everybody is passionate, then learning automatically happens. So it's the very basis of learning, I would say. Then the earning is automatically embedded in learning.
Love the wordplay. Thank you. I would like to request, so I'm going to open it up again in the interest of time. Thank you for answering all these questions around money and skills and scope of work in this space. I'd like to ask Priya to ask her question, if she's here and she wants to unmute herself. Priya S. Okay, I'm not sure if she is either here or hearing this, but she's asked, how can we start this model in our city? And so Parna has, which is in addition to this question, is what are the resources required to start an alternative learning space in your locality?
Okay, this is very easy to answer. Obviously, you can start in any city, any place, at your home. The resources required are zero, absolutely zero. That's the most beautiful part. This is one area or field where you do not need any investment other than investment of your energy, right? I keep saying to people that you can give me a 20 kids and 20 pebbles and we can explore the whole day. We can do all kinds of learning just using those 20 pebbles picked up from the roadside. So actually learning isn't about resources. If we think of that way, then we are again getting caught up with something created by somebody, right? If you're reimagining it, then the learning is about people. And if I have 10 kids or 5 kids or even one kid with me, then that's it. We are two resources, me and the kid. That's more than enough. Right. Right, if we can say two people created the whole humanity, the Adam and the Eve, so we can look at it that way. So it's, let us not be bound by resources, by cities, by places, by anything. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think what matters is your work and you're sharing with the world. It might be just our own experience, so not sure that we would like to buy that experience, but in our experience, it has like the more we shared with people, I think more we learned about it. And more we learned, more we became richer. And more we became richer, the more wealth came. More wealth came, more things happened. So many of the time, even uh, whatever conventional or whatever conditioning, that if I have to start something, either I need to have, say, some investment or some this and some that. What we tell to people is, you just start. Yeah. And it's not that it just start and then people will start coming to you. In fact, when we started our first workshop, we met newspaper. We said, this is what we want to do, will you publish it? And somewhere some newspaper published it for free for us. Okay, we connect with some friends. Okay, this is what we are trying to do, so you share it with the people around you. And then we got 13 kids for our first workshop way back. No social media, no WhatsApp, nothing, kind of a thing. Okay, but that workshop was such a learning experience for us, that and then we started growing up from there. Yeah. And to the extent, when we were looking for the land, when we were in Bangalore, and then we said, okay, now the children need a bigger space, a natural space for us to move out. We had there was no finances which we had. We just shared with our nearest group that this is our dream and this is what we want to do. And believe me, within a week's time, we got a mail saying, I have a 5-acre land in this place, go ahead and take it.
So right now where we are sitting is a 5-acre land donated, gifted to the community, and everything else in this campus, the buildings, equipments, resources are all gifted. Okay, zero investment, all gifted.
Wow,
That's the power of Rathnesh. We keep saying asking, sharing, communicating, connecting. I think that's
amazing. And I think also in this livelihood space, we're talking a lot about the idea of wealth, not just as money, but community. And it sounds like for you, that's what it is, because that's where the gifts are coming from. That's where the learning is happening and the sharing is happening. And I have to say, when you said, give us 12 pebbles and we will be engaged for a day, where was this school when I was growing up? You know, I want to come to this school or to this space, not a school. But I would like to invite Lalita to ask her question.
Hi Aditi, hi Rathnesh ji. I'm mind blown, literally speechless. But I have this one question. How do you manage to counsel parents or deal with parents who are open to this idea, but are scared because of the outside education system and the degrees part? You know, at the end of the day, child has to go out and live their life. Pursue their career or something. How do you deal with counseling the parents?
Okay, so that's again very simple to answer. We don't really counsel or convince or do anything with the parents. We keep sharing our thoughts, our experiences with children, anecdotes, stories. Aditi literally writes 600 to 700 blogs in a year. So that's the a number of sharings that happens. So you keep sharing, you keep sharing. People, as in when they read, as in when they listen, as in when they understand, and as in when they like, they come. So there is absolutely no marketing, no selling, no convincing, no counseling, nothing. If you are connecting somewhere, if you are seeking value, seeing value in this, you would come. If you are not, if you are still thinking about the conventional one, that's okay. So it's a very accepting, open approach. Okay, and I think that helps, right? Then there is no expectation, no tension anywhere. Yeah. But if a parent wants to talk more about, let's say, their fear, then all we are there. We have all the time to spend with them, talk to them, understand their fears, and share our understanding with them.
In fact, if we get, say, 10 to 15 inquiries, which are similar inquiries, we just make it a workshop. We said, okay, if they, and even in those workshops, if 10 people are coming, it doesn't matter too, because we are able to share it with the 10 more people. Things like, how to deal with fear in children, how to deal this, how to do that, how to do that, and then all those things then becomes a sharing for us for that particular thing. So we are not trying to lead every parent to a one destination, or every child to come to our open learning space, and then that's that has never been the agenda for us. And I think that agenda has been quite peaceful for us, because it allows us to accept the people the way they are, wherever they are at this moment. I think that's very important to understand them, rather than imposing, okay, now I feel open learning is the best. My daughter is 21-year-old and hasn't done the 10th degree or whatever, she doesn't have any certificate, she runs a business. Okay, now I can't just go on telling that everybody in this world don't do the 10th and only do what my daughter is doing. I think it doesn't matter, it doesn't work. So what works is that, yeah, there is one experience which I have, and I can share that with you. That's all. uh, that's how, if
Thanks a lot.
Kalika.
Thank you. There are lots of questions, I think, from what you're sharing. There are lots of questions coming.
I think we need to keep our answers short.
No, don't worry, don't worry. This is good. There are lots of questions coming up about just what age group are you working with? What is your methodology like? How do teachers engage with children? So the reason I'm not asking one person to ask this is because there's so many questions around this that have come up. So if you could just briefly shed light on what your space really looks like. So what happens maybe from on a single day?
Okay, so first of all, we don't really work with or invite any one age group. We say 0 to 99. So I guess most of us will fit in somewhere there. So any age group is welcome. The idea is very simple. Whoever comes here decides what they want to learn. So whether a child is 5 years old, 15 or 55, they will decide how they want to live their day to day. And then they will go about doing that. And obviously, since we are in a community, there will be certain times when we get together, play together, sing together, dance together, eat together, cook together, clean the toilets together, and so on. But that's a small pocket of time. The rest, everything is very organic. Different children, adults, whatever groups will get formed, they will do things together. Somebody may be just doing something alone, however each one wants. Everybody is there to support everybody. So if at a campus, let's say at any time there are 20 kids and let's say 10 adults, let's assume, then that means there are 30 people. Then for each child, there are 29 facilitators. So for every child, every other child, and every other parent, and every other akka, anna, everybody is a facilitator. Yeah. So it works like that, and everybody is part of it. Everybody is responsible for themselves as well as for the community. So it's very, very open, democratic, and that's how really the day goes. Somebody's already shared our website, so I guess more information on the website, and you can always connect with us.
Amazing. So then I'm sorry, even as someone who has been, I think even with people who have been reading about alternative learning, it is still like, wow, that this is happening. So there are no teachers, there are no timetables, it's just living together and learning together.
Yeah. Yeah. If a child wants to make his or her own timetable, he or she is most welcome. So children do make their own structure. I'm not the timetable. They will make their own, that I want to do this planning, we call it, because see, if I want to work with her, I need to sync in my time with her. So that's how the planning happens. So we do meet in the morning to ensure that everybody can coordinate and with each other to be able to do what they want to do. But otherwise, yes, each child creates their own structure.
Nice. Okay, so this is another question. Thank you for sharing that. Another question from Febin. If I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, if you could unmute yourself, because it's a question about a livelihoods of the people of your community. So, Febin, are you here?
Yeah. So that was pretty much my question. So I think what you are offering is just self-directed learning, and you're not linking it with any career prospects as such. Or are you promising something to the learners?
Yeah, we are promising them whatever they want to dream. In the
Okay,
sense,
okay.
yes, it's
I mean, I
totally
pretty much got it.
it's totally led by them. So there is it is not something that the children who are part of ROE later on become only certain things. They could be the next CEO of whatever Hong Kong bank, or they could be the next chai shop wala down the road. It's really up to them to choose what they want to do. They could be the next footballer, or they could be the next singer, or they could be just a whatever, just a homemaker. Who, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter what they want to do in their life. That's again their dreams, their thoughts, their journey, right? I also want to emphasize that yes, while I would say in a way, the community is trying to make them alive now. A livelihood is not about future. A livelihood is about every single day, right from the day I am born. Why am I only supposed to earn later? I can earn right now, not necessarily money. I can earn a lot of other things. So I have to be alive. If I'm alive every single day of my life, in that sense, alive as in I'm doing what I really want to do today, and I'm doing it totally immersed, like fire burning, like your burning question. Well, I would say, what's your burning question? I will ask this to every single child or adult who comes here. Whatever is your burning question, let's burn that. Right? That's the whole idea.
Just one more follow-up question. So, are there cases of children who have come to your institution going back to the formal education
Yes,
system?
yes, why not? A child wants
Okay.
to. There's one guy, one boy who has given 10th this year. He wants to become a pilot, and he knows that to become a pilot, he needs to give 10th and 12th minimum in our country to get into a aviation institute. So that's their choice. So it's open learning means you decide your path. Not that you have to not go to college or not go to IIT or not go to become a chaiwala. You decide what you want to do. If you and whatever support, help you need for that, the community is there to support you.
Thank you. I'm really inspired by this.
Yeah, so children go back to school, children also not go back to school and pursue, because what they have realized is whatever time they spend in the community is that they are important. Yeah.
Right.
Whichever way they are important. And I think that that's very important for us to realize that each one of us, even in this room, who we are 41, and all of us are quite important in our own way. Yeah. and and now from that you create your life, livelihood, learning, living, whatever you want to call it. Have a certain we say is the flavor of your life which you want to create for yourself, and then go ahead and then create for yourself. Our own son is very competitive, and he's training himself to become a professional footballer. Yeah, but our daughters purpose in life is to have happiness, and that's her target for whatever she does. And she runs a small business for her, and then she's into sustainability business. And so not only these two children, there is a child who is in photography, there's a child who is into cooking, there's a child who is into different interests. So it does not matter where you move ahead. What matters is that how you move ahead from whatever you have experienced for.
Right. Thank you. I would like to pass it to Martha. Martha, are you with us in the room?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Please ask your question.
Thank you so much for sharing, and just you being so vibrant and I mean full of life. Sorry, I'm here. I just wanted to share. I myself, like, I studied in a Krishnamurti school, and I know how amazing it is, like alternative education. But one thing that really troubles me is how the masses, like many times, it's restricted to a certain section of the society that can access it. So I mean, and I'm working with rural areas now, and I'm working with schools in rural areas, and I'm trying to understand, like, because there are many youth who want to, like, help ones who are younger than themselves in their communities, and they recognize the education system is so flawed. But then are there like have you experienced, for example, like even in cities, for example, in slum areas, or kids whose parents maybe are not literate and who cannot maybe themselves be engaged, but then youth in the community could assist young ones, and but then, like, are there like materials, resources that could assist in guiding youth who want to help, like, and who want, maybe to create small spaces of alternative education in their own community, in their own gadi, like, or are there other initiatives that you've heard of or you've seen that you would recommend that I could find out more about, or like any or resources? I was trying to go through your website, but yeah.
Yeah, so two thoughts. One is, in terms of information, I would say you can get in touch with us, and we will also get little time to compile names of organizations whom you can connect with and learn from. So offhand, I'm not getting names, but I think the core point is, again, we are somehow getting caught up with this thought about that there should be resources and there should be a model or there should be a method. I would say, if there are, if any, let's say anybody, a person X wants to work with, let's say 10 children, then there are 11 resources, and they should sit together and see what they want to do with themselves. Okay, I'll give you one example. One of our teammates, she went to a government school nearby. The government school called us, come, do something with us. This is in our village only. So you can imagine a village school. And so she said, okay. So she went to this fifth and sixth standard, and she collected all the children, and the children were expecting that we will do some activity. She said, okay, what do you want to do? And they don't know what they want to do. And she said again, and they took 2 days to just decide what they want to do. But when they decided, one group wanted to set up a library, one group wanted to plant trees, one group wanted to do this, all of them wanted to do something related to their life and the school life. And then onwards, the next 30 sessions, not 13 sessions spread over the next 3-4 quarters were amazing, totally children driven. The colleague of ours, she didn't need to do anything. She just needed to go there and come back and just be with them all the time, telling them, whatever you are deciding, you can do it. Many of them met their principal for the first time. They were so scared. How can we go to principal and ask for money for trees? But then they only decided, yes, we can go. And the first time went to the principal and spoke to the principal. And the principal actually gave them money and space for library, money for trees, and so on. So what I'm trying to say is that let's not start with these questions about resources and models and ways and methods. All the solutions lie inside these children and youth and you, Martha, and you, Martha, everybody, each one of us here. We don't need any model. Somebody's asking in the chat, what is your model? I say, forget what is my model. I want to know what is your model, right? What are you thinking? Because what you are thinking is exciting, right? And let's take it from there. That's what we have learned from working with so many children. Child is a model in himself or herself. He has his own way of looking at his life. And all that requires is now people to to kind of fan that fire for it to become a raging inferno. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to fan that fire, I mean, that itself is like, because we are conditioned because of the education system that we have come. So the facilitator, like, how do you create more facilitators who can fan that fire is really my question. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's why I guess all of you are here. You are excited about learning and education and so on. So I guess there is a facilitator already inside you. And as you go along, you will learn, you will explore. Yes, you can connect with us. We have some programs and all to share what we know, but that's only a drop in the ocean. There is so much more to learn for all of us, including us.
Amazing. Thank you for this reminder again and again to not depend, because I think this is also something COVID is teaching us, which is that what is there in the past, what is there in these things that we've learned of, like, this is the way to do things, everything gets disrupted, and industries get disrupted, and you have to restart and reconfigure, and so thank you for this very important reminder that let's try and abandon the ideas of models and resources, and maybe just like doing is going to teach us what we need to learn. um, I'm going to invite, we have just a reminder to everyone, we have about 10 minutes for today's session, because there will be a closing session after this, which needs to start on time because there's a lovely performance and all planned within it. And so everyone should head there. So if you have questions still, please continue to type them out in the chat. If your question hasn't been asked, it's probably because it has already been answered. And if it does get missed out, we will try our best to make sure that it gets answered in the future. I would like to ask Nikhil to ask his question. Nikhil, are you with us?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Actually, sir, I wanted to know that for a child to know his or her interest area, she or he needs to explore or get an exposure of what all is around me and what is happening in world, and then try and figure out what is interest area. So, how do you help children in identifying their interest area or helping them in finding their interest area? Thank you.
Just to take an example, if I want children to be exposed, which is a very valid point. What I will do is, which we are doing is, I will call Ishita, and I will call Lalita and Nikhil and Munali and Pooja and Raja and Trupti and Shriram and Jyoti and Martha, and I'll collect all the people here and also children here, and automatically a lot of exposure will happen. Does that make sense? The more people they meet, the more people they interact with, they will automatically get exposed to, oh, this particular person likes singing, and this particular like digging, and this particular likes flying, and this particular likes insecting, like Gaurav, the speaker before. So the whole idea is to build a community. The more people there, more the merrier. The more the children interact with lots and lots of different people of different ages, that is what gives them a lot of exposure. They start realizing as 6 years old, as 10 years old, as 15 years old, oh, life is not about just being as somebody was saying, engineer or doctor. Life can be, there can be so many ways in which we can live life, and then they are able to choose and build their own dreams, aspirations as per their life.
Yeah, so to do that, there are a lot of people who visit the campus, keep visiting. So we have a quite an inflow. In fact, that goes against those conventional thought process that if there are a lot of inflow of people, it will disturb the children's day and all those kind of thing. Our children are least bothered, kind of thing. You come. If I'm interested in you, I'll connect with you. If I'm not, I'll continue with my life, kind of a thing. So there is a lot of inflow of people. There's a lot of connection of visits which we do to different places, different kind of people, professions, happenings in around, kind of a thing. So there's an interaction, constantly interaction happening, and also a very keen listening to the child. If the child, like for example, a child would go on folding the paper Okay, so it doesn't worry us that what will the child do when the child is just folding the paper. What we start thinking is that what more with the paper the child can do. Yeah. And then you realize that we find people that who are already doing with the paper, and then we connect this child and those people together, and then they take their journey forward. Yeah. So what matters in this whole thing is that the world around us and the child, both together.
That's why the community part is
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah. So and yeah. I think that's actually one of the reason we started Arohi. We realized that only me and Rathnesh, it was too unfair for our both the children to have only two adults in their life.
Only two parents. How about million parents?
Who were giving them all the gyan about this whole life, and I said, no, that's not fair. Our children deserve much more than what
Much better.
much better than what we both are giving to them. And that's where the community, and that's where I guess they get to connect with the world, connect with the life itself. And then and you see the beauty. They reject some exposures, they select some exposures, they ask for more for something, they will tell you to shut for something, that no more of this kind of a thing I need from exposure. So there is a lot of dynamics happen, and that's quite beautiful. We call it's always alive. It's kind of a
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. So I have one question for you, but we'll maybe Karthi has a question. Karthi, do you want to ask? Karthi?
I think Rajesh Shekhar also has some question which I'm not really able to understand.
Just pass it to him. Karthi, can you hear us? Yes. Yes.
I'm audible?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How can one become a part of your organization?
Did you catch that? She's asking, how can one become a part of your organization? And I'm sure a lot of people in this call are wondering, which is why I thought I'd ask her to
I
ask.
think this is not an organization. So
It's
I
a
think
community, yeah.
somewhere people use the word institution. So it's not. It's a
community.
It's a community. It's a vibrant community.
It's an open community.
It's an open community.
So just walk in. You're already part of it. By talking to us, you're already part of it. Walk in. Right now, you can't physically walk in because of the COVID restrictions. Once it is there, so it's an open invitation to all of you. Please visit our campus once it is open. Right now, it's not open. We would love to host all of you. Even together is fine. We'll manage.
So yeah, so people, when they visit for a week, they are part of the community. When they come for a day, they are part of the community. When they stay with us for a month, they are part of the community. So there are many different ways of you connecting with anybody. Yeah.
So we would say you just hop onto our website, go through it a little, drop us a mail, give us a call. And as of now, with our given constraint, we will see how best we can connect with you and make you part of our community. But definitely once the campus open, you're most welcome to be part of the community.
Yeah, I think, but I just also want to share that if you're coming to teach our children, I think you will get disappointed. You may get disappointed because we are not always ready to be taught. Yeah,
we're always ready to learn.
Yeah, we are. We are. When we need your expertise, I think our children will connect with you. So why I'm saying is that many of people come with that, I know English, I know this, I can teach this. Somewhere it is also there that if I'm going to a place, I need to give something in written kind of a thing. And so we bring that a kind of a rider that don't come for children, come for yourself, just come to experience. And I think things flows on their own without any agendas when you're there, and it makes it very beautiful for
we are almost in terms of time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm actually looking at the time and then thinking, can I fit in another question? Should I fit in another question? But I feel like this is just organically ended on a very lovely note with the invitation to come actually experience what you're talking about. And you have really shared with us so deeply and with so much enthusiasm about what we can do as individuals, and how easy it is for all of us in this room, if we really believe in this and are living among people, to just start. And so I think it will be nice to keep this as a reminder for ourselves. For any questions that were not answered, do feel free to write to us. This chat will also be saved, and we will do our best to send it over to our Rohi, get them answered. And of course, you have the link to the website. And
get in touch with us. Our numbers are there. Our emails are there on the website. Please get in touch with us directly also. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm actually testament to this. I was sharing with them in the beginning that about a year ago, at the end of 2019, I had just out of the blue, I was visiting Bangalore and I had called Arohi and just spoken directly to both of them. And today I'm sitting and having a longer conversation. So it's quite incredible. So yeah, just let's be in touch, everybody. And this brings us to the end of our fourth deep dive. Which is also kind of the end of the Alivelihoods Mela. So there will be a closing ceremony or closing session in the main room. And as part of that, there is a group called Dharavi Dream Project that's going to be performing. And so it will be amazing for everyone to head there and witness whatever happens. And thank you again to everyone in the room, especially Aditi and Rathnesh, for everyone who's asked their questions, for making this such an alive conversation.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, and I think I just want to close with the not close, begin with the note that each one of you can do what you want to do. Just go ahead and do it. Yeah, things will fall for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.